All right, so next I'm going to move on to our next featured partner of the Civil Engineering Technology and Innovation Showcase, SkyCiv Cloud Engineering Software, a really innovative software company in the structural engineering space. I've gotten to know SkyCiv here over the years. They've also been a great supporter of EMI's content, and today our speaker from SkyCiv will be Sam Carigliano. Sam is the CEO and co-founder of SkyCiv Engineering, the first cloud-based structural analysis software with a degree in civil engineering and a full-stack developer. Sam's responsible for the vision of the company, day-to-day operations, and overseeing the product development of the SkyCiv software line. It was while studying that he took an interest in programming and entrepreneurship, which led him to start SkyCiv in 2015. Since then, SkyCiv has become a leader in the structural engineering software industry for cloud technology and design automation through the SkyCiv API. And I'm going to let Sam jump right in here and take it away. Sam?
Great, thank you. So first I thought I'd start by introducing SkyCiv. It's possible, we're a fairly new structural engineering software. So yeah, I thought I'd start out by introducing who we are and why we started. So SkyCiv is, as Anthony mentioned, a cloud-based structural analysis and design software. So we're the first cloud-based software of its kind. And we're really focusing on a lot of innovation technology, so sort of API integrations, which we'll go through a lot today, as well as just delivering software on an easy to use and flexible platforms such as online technology. So my name's Sam. As Anthony mentioned, I'm the CEO and co-founder of SkyCiv. And today we're really going to focus a lot on the API, which is a very new product for us. It's only been released this month. And even though we've been around for 5 years, this is something we've been really working towards for a long time and been very excited about because it brings on a new wave of technology. We're seeing the benefits experienced by other industries, and we want to bring it into structural engineering. So I'll go through a little bit more about who SkyCiv are and the type of products that we create, and then sort of go into what is an API. If you're not familiar with the term, I'll sort of explain what that is and how it applies to structural engineering. And then we'll dive deep into a demonstration showing what it can do exactly, how it works. It's one thing to talk about a technology, it's another to actually see it for yourself. I think that helps really explain, how this technology can help your companies improve their workflows. And then we'll look at a few case studies of how the API is being used to improve the design workflow for companies, make it more competitive, more profitable, and then give you a sort of starting basis of it where you can start using the API. So about SkyCiv, so we started in 2015. You might recognize I have a different accent, so we're from Sydney, Australia. Started the company basically off the back of that there was no cloud technology at the time. So we had traditional structural analysis and design software, but it was all pretty clunky. You had to download it, install it. It had to run regular updates. There wasn't that real flexibility of just logging on through a web browser and being able to use the software really easily. And we also found that things like the UI, the user interface, was really quite messy in some of these areas. So we decided, well, we want to recreate this software, but build it for the future. So we wanted to bring it to a cloud platform, make it very easy to use, release a mobile app, all that sort of stuff that other industries benefit from, and we don't really receive in structural engineering. So that led us to start the company back in 2015. And really our core commitment to the industry, we're about those 3 or 4 pillars that I mentioned. So the user experience was something we felt really lacked at the time with traditional software. It's not really a user-friendly interface. Sometimes it's hard to get your information in and information out. So we wanted to really improve that. We wanted to have fast customer support through live chat and make that whole user experience a lot more positive, a lot more user-friendly. We also wanted to focus on creating powerful software. So being on the cloud, we have really large servers that are able to do quite a lot in terms of computation. So that was a very important part of what we felt we could leverage out of the cloud. And then finally, having flexibility around your pricing and also just accessibility. So because we are 100% cloud-based, you can access it from any browser, from anywhere. So you don't need to be at the office. You can do it on personal computers. There's no dongles going around the office, and you can visit from your mobile and things like that. And then obviously the pricing. So we charge on a monthly basis rather than a full, upfront cost, like some traditional software. Yeah, so over that time, we've developed a range of structural analysis and design software. So we've developed our core products are the analysis products. So Structural 3D, which is a full 3D analysis software. So it does things like plates, cables, beams, nonlinear, linear analysis, buckling, and response spectrum and frequency analysis as well. So it's really very powerful software. We've got some design components or integrated design modules for member design. So that's steel, concrete, wood, and cold form steel. Connection design, foundation design, reinforced concrete, and a load generator. And then we have some other products, like our software is all integrated with these design modules, but it's also has some other external products that kind of log on top of the software itself. So the API, obviously, which we'll be talking about today. We've got the SkyCiv mobile app, which lets you perform beam analysis, wind loading. You can look up section libraries and tables and even review your models, your structural 3D models right there from a mobile. And then we have an optimizer as well, which sort of will pick out the best result for a range of different models. So it helps you speed up that optimization process in the modeling phase, in the design phase. And then we have a Revit plugin and an Excel plugin as well. And they're actually built on top of the API. So it kind of shows you what's possible with the API. And these two examples, we're showing you how you can sort of integrate data from one program to another, to our SkyCiv software. In this case, it's pretty much speeding up that modeling process because you don't have to start from scratch. You can pull your model in from Revit or from Excel or even Grasshopper plugin as well. Okay, so thought we'd start out just explaining what an API is. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but maybe in structural engineering, we're not as familiar with the term because we might not be using it as much as we are as other industries might be using it. But basically all an API is it lets you access this technology or the technology directly rather than going through a software user interface. So basically it's consisting of two parts. One is a request and a response. So a request is what I'm going to send in, and I'm going to send in sort of my ingredients or the information that I want to receive. So I'll say, can you tell me what the mid-span result is of this type of beam, if I load it in this particular way. And the SkyCiv API will perform that calculation and send you back an exact result to say, the bending moment force at this location is, 62 kilonewton meters or whatever the result is. So really all it is you're taking away the need to open up the software, manually build that model, load it, press solve, review the results, and pull out that answer. You can go direct to the technology and receive back a response immediately. So we use these every day in our other lives, in our personal lives. We might be using an API to, for instance, get prices of flights. So when we jump on, say, Expedia or Kayak or Booking.com, and we do that little search bar and we hit enter, what that's actually doing is sending off multiple API requests to, say, Qantas or different airlines, and coming back with a price. And that's going to let us quickly look at of all the different prices that we can get and pick the best one that's for us. So that's an example of how we're using APIs in our other lives, or to benefit ourselves, or to speed up that process of manually searching all these different airlines for the best possible price. So how does that apply to structural engineering, or in our case, our structural analysis API? Well, it's simply the SkyCiv API is simply a tool set which lets engineers access all of our analysis and design capabilities directly. So we can't solve all your problems. You guys have very specific problems and different workflows. So all we want to do is provide you with a toolbox that you can use to automate some of the modeling or the analysis or the design workflows that you guys have. So that's where we sit. That's where we fit in sort of this in this puzzle. Okay, so now we'll just sort of we'll actually go through an example of what it actually looks like. As I mentioned earlier, it's one thing to explain it, but it's a whole nother to see it for yourself. So I'll just start by introducing the platform itself. So all I've done is I've just logged into my SkyCiv account. And this is the dashboard. So this is the first page you'll see. It's got all of our existing cloud-based products. So just to go through those quickly, we have SkyCiv Beam, which enables you to do very quick and easy single span beam analysis. We've got Structural 3D, which is the fully capable analysis and design software. Concrete design, connection design, foundation, wind loading. So there are a few of the products that we have available, and they're all accessed obviously through a web browser. So I'm simply using Firefox, accessing that through a web browser. So it works on Mac, PC, and everything else. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm really going to focus on our API. So the API can be accessed from anywhere, but what we've done is created a very simple, we call it a sandbox. So what it does is it lets you test these API calls quickly and easily. So as I mentioned, API is comprised of two parts: a request, which is the input, and a response, which is the output. So the request, again, is just what we want it to do. We're telling the software what we want it to automatically perform, the analysis or the design checks. And then the response is what we're going to see as the results. And this is all you need to provide. This is it. It's a simple, it's known as a JSON file. But basically, it's very human readable. I can see, this is the model that I'm going to build. I can see what unit system it's in. I can see the nodes. So here we have just a simple beam spanning 0 to 2 feet. The members, what section am I loading in? So I can see I'm loading directly from the AISC database, materials, and then of course the loads and supports. So we obviously want to constrain the model. So very, very easy to implement. You can play around with these things. So say we want to change that to 3 feet, you just simply change that. And then when we run the API, what that's doing is it's actually making what's known as an HTTP request. So that's actually going to our cloud servers in Chicago, and they're performing that analysis and they're building that model. So it's doing all those things that you would do through the user interface, but it's doing it automatically. So here we get a response of all the reaction forces, so FX, MX, etc. Displacements, torsion forces, bending stresses, bending moments, shear force, all the typical analysis results you'd expect to see, but in a very sort of in a way that we can interpret those results instantly. So we can create algorithms to sort of go, well, yes, this is the information that we're really looking for. It is the mid-span force. Or so you can really drill down to that high level of detail, or you can also use our summary object, which basically tells you, does this beam pass or fail? Based on some set criteria like span ratios, is this structure feasible or not? So this sandbox, there's quite a few different tests, sort of API functions you can run. There's quite a lot that the API can do. So you can save models and store them in your cloud storage, perform analysis, perform member design checks, for instance, AISC or AZ or ACI as well. And these are just a few of the samples that we have available. I'll show you another example where maybe we don't want to perform an analysis, but we want to create the model itself. So this is it's a larger model we're going to build. And what we're doing in this case is we're going to create the model, and then we're going to save it to our cloud storage. So we can then open it up in the software and review it and finalize some of the designs that we want to build. So this is really useful if you want to sort of integrate with other programs, such as in some of the examples we've used is Revit, Grasshopper, or Excel. Or if you have your own platforms that you're using, or your own internal tools that you use, maybe they are web applications, maybe they're built on top of Excel, and you don't want to pull out all the data and recreate the model. This lets you build that model instantly, and you just receive a link back. And when you open that link, the model has already been generated for you. So you can start working right away. You can start solving, you can start finalizing your design. You can completely bypass that modeling process, which usually takes quite a while. Okay, so basically from this sandbox mode as well, we do have a link to our documentation. So documentation gives you the real detailed explanation of all the different functions we can run, and all the different parts of the model that we're going to build into it. You can also look at, we have some really, really great sample code as well. So if you did want to run, say, the API from somewhere outside, we ran that from platform. We ran that from the SkyCiv platform itself, but what if we wanted to build that from outside of the platform? We've got some really good sample code to get you started really quickly. And here's an example of some sample code that we have just from an external Pi. So here we're showing we can run the same API call from other locations as well. It doesn't have to be from the SkyCiv platform. I can run those from anywhere, and it's just a matter of changing, my username and key there. So yeah, definitely can run these from other applications. Got some other examples here. So I can't really see my tabs, so I'm just guessing where it is, but here it is. So, some external tools that you might want to make. So this is just a very simple mock-up that one of our engineers created. It's basically what it does is you can load in different shapes from our library, and then test a number of different cases. So here we're testing the different pitch of the roof, as well as different bays, and receiving sort of result data from these cases that we're looking at to find out what's the optimal sort of design available. So that's sort of where the optimizer, you can use this for sort of optimization features, and you can also use the 3D renderer as well. That's free to use as well. So you can actually use this renderer as part of our API package for your own usage as well. So I hope that gives a good view of sort of how the API works, just actually seeing how it functions. So what can the API do? Well, basically any of the functions you can do in our software, you can do in the API. So we have a lot of modeling functionality, so you can automatically build the models as we just saw. You can import from other software, save to cloud storage. You can repair models if they come through and maybe they have duplicate nodes and things like that. We'll repair those, take screenshots, and it's all in a very easy format, easy JSON format. On the analysis side, it can do a lot. It can do linear, non-linear buckling analysis, dynamic analysis of frequency and response spectrum, beams, plates, cables, load combinations, and it's all commercially tested and verified. This is part of our package that is used across 160 countries. Our software is used, so we have been very, very strong on QA over the years. So that's another aspect that's very important to our company. And then finally, you can perform design checks for AIC, AZ, and 15 other steel member design codes, as well as cold form steel, timber design, reinforced concrete, snow loads, etc. And then you can also do, we've got really great open PDF reporting. So when you do perform a design check, you also get a detailed calculation report of the calculations that the design code has made. You also get summaries of results, and you can get that in multiple file formats as well. So also looking at a few real life cases, sort of to bring it back to structural engineering and how we can actually use these to improve our workflow. We're seeing a lot of companies benefit from using the API to sort of automate and speed up a lot of the tasks that they're doing. A lot of these tasks are very mundane and repetitive. So in this example, we have Monkey Toe. They build platforms on top of buildings. So it's kind of after build platforms. And we've helped them automate the modeling of these structures so that their sales engineers can get quick answers of whether something's going to be feasible or not. And they've improved their design time by 90%, which is absolutely huge for this type of company that needs to turn around these designs really quickly to give them a competitive advantage If one of your competitors is taking a week or 2 weeks to return a design, and these guys can do it within a day, that's obviously a huge benefit for their company and for the client as well. Not only that but now they can also save on materials because they've got much more accurate analysis and design checks. They're able to really optimize their designs and improve them, and really give the client, again, a better service. So that's one in sort of the manufacturing phase. Another one is a top tier consulting firm here in Sydney. Well, actually, it's a global firm, but the Sydney office was the one using the API in this case. And what they've done is they've automated the modeling and the design of the overhead cable structures. So for a very long train line, I think it went for about 7 or 8 kilometers. There was more than 120 structures that were very, very similar that needed to be designed. So they've used the API to iterate and just model and spit out all the answers of all those structures. And that's provided a 10 times faster speed when they had to implement changes. So for instance, if the client wanted something a bit different, they were able to change that, retest everything at an extremely fast pace, saving them a lot of time and money. So other use cases of the API. So we talked a little bit, this is sort of about design automation, which is removing those mundane or repetitive tasks and just allowing the engineer to really focus on optimizing the design or improving the design or improving their service to the client. That's been a big part of what the API can deliver. Obviously performs FEA and design checks. So if you do need analysis from your existing spreadsheets to sort of improve the design and make it more accurate, the API can provide that. Transferring structural models between programs, as we've seen in Revit or Excel, or any other platforms you use, you can instantly create the model from those programs. And then finally, optimizing the structures. Because our servers sit on the cloud, you can send us up thousands of models to test. We'll iterate and test and give you the best possible model available. So that obviously saves you a lot of time and obviously saves the client a lot of money by improving the designs. And finally, how do we get started? So it's very, very easy to create an account with SkyCiv. And if you have an existing account, you probably already have some API credits within that. But you can start with a 30-day trial. We'll give you 1,000 API credits, plus instant help from any of our API engineers that can help you integrate your solutions to our platform. And also give you access to the full suite of software so you can test out the analysis or the design software through the user interface as well. And then another one is you can get in touch for a demo. So just reach out to me. Feel free to connect on LinkedIn or email me after this to get in touch for a one-on-one demo. We can show you and your team a similar presentation, or we can drill down into your workflow and really tailor it for your needs. And finally, you can view our documentation, which shows all the detailed functions and all the inputs that are required for each function. And you can visit that from our website as well. So everything can be accessed from just skyciv.com/API for more information. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me personally and I'll be able to help you out.